Swinging a high drive into center field. Hits at the wall. It is gone! Costas does it again. It's gone! It's into the bullpen! This game is tied!
He swings and rips one to center field. It's high, it's deep, it's back, it's gone! Sale winds, he fires. Swing and a miss, strike three, it's over! The Red Sox have won the World Championship!
What's up? Welcome back to Play Tessie. It is a bonus pod for you today. We're previewing, it's the AL East Outlook, previewing this week. It's the Tampa Bay Rays. Before we get into it, it's the official Red Sox podcast of WEI. Remember, hit that subscribe button wherever you get your podcasts. Odyssey, Apple, Spotify. Subscribe, rate 5 stars, leave a comment, give your Rays win predictions in the comments. You can find us on YouTube. We're on the WEI channel. Got the whole Play Tessie playlist there. It's got all our episodes in video form. So hit the thumbs up on those videos and subscribe to WEI. And then find us on the socials at Play Tessie on both Twitter and Instagram. So I'm here with Sammy. I'm here with Pat. It's Gordo here. We're previewing the Rays. And not a ton changed in the offseason transactionally for the Rays. I mean, they traded Jeffrey Springs. They got Sammy's boy. What's his name? Tim Boyle?
Oh, yeah, Boyle.
Is it
Boyle.
Tim? Joe Boyle. Who's Tim Boyle?
I don't know.
He was a backup quarterback, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's quarterback. Joe Boyle.
Yeah.
They got Joe Boyle.
Boyle.
but the Rays moves this year in the offseason are the guys that they're getting back. Like, people, like, you forget about who they've got, but like their rotation, it's going to have some combination of Shane McClanahan, Ryan Pepio, Taj Bradley, Shane Baz, Zach Littell, Drew Rasmussen came back last year kind of as a reliever, but he was really good as a starter before he got hurt. And Joe Boyle. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 starting pitchers right there. Yeah, the only thing that kind of hurts them though is they're playing their games in Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, which is not going to be friendly for pitchers. There's going to be rain delays that where the starters start games and then have to finish after 2 innings because they can't stop and start back up because it's going to rain all summer. And then the ballpark dimensions there, Tampa Bay, Tropicana Field, known as a pitcher's ballpark, Steinbrenner Field is not going to be the same as that. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be hard to project the Rays this year just because the ballpark factor is going to change so much.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are very, very high on Jonathan Aranda. I keep hearing his name simply because of the ballpark. Big pull hitter, hits the ball in the air. And I just keep, every Rays preview I've heard, Aranda. He's going to have a really good year. So, yeah, it's going to help the bats. It's going to hurt the pitching. But that pitching staff, oh my God.
It's good.
Terrifying. Like, I think it is top 3 in Major League Baseball. It's scary.
As a staff or as a rotation?
Staff.
Yeah, they have the rotation's very good. They have a lot of high ceiling guys. McClanahan coming back. And then the back of the bullpen, Fairbanks had a weird year last year. I still love Pete Fairbanks. I think he's a very good reliever. And then Edwin Uceda out of nowhere, sub 2 last year. And then they always have a knack for just churning out high quality relievers. So but it worked in Tampa. I don't know if it's going to work at Steinbrenner Field. We'll see.
Yeah, that like Edwin Uceda breakout that just kind of they got him for something stupid, right? I'm gonna go find what they traded for him. I remember being really pissed off when I saw what he was acquired for.
It's just classic Rays. Like, I mean, Fairbanks was nobody, and now he's just unhittable, nasty, bizarre delivery, bizarre setup. He's nasty. You said it like we just said. Garrett Cleavinger, lefty, nasty. Kevin Kelly, nasty. They got Jacob Wagspack, who came back from I think he was in Korea from like 2021 to 2023. He's gonna be so good. Like, I mean, he pitched last year? 4 games. He's just gonna be really good for no reason. It's not gonna make any sense because it's a friggin' Rays and they just pull these guys out of their asses, and they're just amazing. You could just go down the list. Alex Faedo, he showed flashes with the Tigers. Wouldn't be shocked if he was good. Mike Vassell, Boston kid, probably going to be
Alex
great too.
Faedo is another one of those
Yeah.
stupid name guys that's going to end up being good for the Rays.
I either played against or we were in the same tournament as Mike Vassell, and he's the best high school pitcher I've ever seen in my life.
Well,
He
yeah.
was
Now he's
he
on the
went to-
Rays.
Went to BC High, was supposed to be a first-round pick, said no to the draft, honored his commitment to Virginia, and then went 8th round. He was a top 10 Mets prospect at one point. But yeah, dude, he was a freshman in high school throwing 94. If anyone can figure it out, it'll be Tampa.
Do you guys want to hear the Edwin Uceta journey? They got him for nothing. Spoiler alert. They signed him as a free agent. He was initially a Dodger, signed as like an international free agent, and then selected off waivers in 21 by the Diamondbacks. Then in 23, selected off waivers by the Tigers. And then again in 23, selected off waivers by the Pirates. And then again in 23, selected off waivers by the Mets. And then again in 23, selected off waivers by the Cubs. In September of 23, the Cubs released him. In December of 23, the Rays signed him, and the rest is history. And he's just like fucking disgusting. So very fun. They're good for one of those every single year. Like I feel like with the Rays, we just kind of got like, I don't want to say count our lucky stars because it's like obviously a very unfortunate circumstance that happened, but like Wander Franco not being on that team it changed the trajectory of that franchise. It just did.
Yep.
Sammy, you're
You
muted.
muted, Sammy.
Sorry, my upstairs neighbors it sounds like they're mowing their lawn indoors. Yeah, Wander Franco was extremely talented, bad person, but yeah, that just like completely cratered the Rays. But still, I mean, we've barely gotten into it. These guys are scary. This might be Rays and Red Sox, top of the American League East. I know the Orioles are still scary, but the Rays, the more I look at their roster,
That's a bold take, Sammy.
Listen,
You can't
can I just
skirt
go down-
by- That's a
Whoa.
take. That's a take.
Listen. I'm not skirting. Listen to this rotation. Shane McClanahan, who is unbelievable. Like
Coming off surgery, though.
top tier. He looks good. He's looked good so far. Like ace caliber guy. Drew Rasmussen, another guy who's coming back. A lot of these guys are actually coming off of injuries and are back healthy. So, we have that caveat, but the upside is insane. Rasmussen, nasty. Zach Littell, nasty. Ryan Pepiot, former top prospect from the Dodgers that the Rays got in a trade. Nasty. Taj Bradley, another top prospect guy. Nasty. Shane Baz, same thing. Another top prospect type. Nasty. And then Joe Boyle, the guy you mentioned earlier, who is an absolute moose. He's 6'7", throws 100 miles an hour consistently, and the Rays have him. So you know what that means. He's going to be a nightmare. That's their rotation. We already talked about the bullpen. Fairbanks, Uceta. We didn't even mention Manuel Rodriguez, who had a 2.1 ERA last year in 40 games. Sickening. And then you get to the lineup. Now the lineup is good,
not
but
that
not
good.
great. Yeah, it's okay.
I wouldn't even constitute it as good. It's not a very good lineup. They're not
So
going to
catcher is a bunch of like Danny Jansen, Ben Rortvedt, former Red Sox, former Yankee, Logan Driscoll, whatever. Yandy Diaz, Aaron Aranda at first. So those two guys. Brandon Lau, Jose Caballero at second, rotating. Caballero's fast as hell. Lau is one of the better hitting second basemen when he's healthy. Third base, Junior Caminero, who wasn't he the number one prospect in baseball last year at one point?
He's going to be a
Freak of
monster
nature.
this year. He's going to be crazy. He is
If
ready
he's
to
healthy.
break the fuck out. Like that guy's about to go nuts. His what was it? Like it was like the Dominican Winter League or something, and then spring training too. He has just been an absolute monster, and like he looks like he's every bit of what they said he was gonna be. And he wasn't that great last year, but like he's ready to go. Like that, this is gonna be the year.
All right, still going. Curtis Mead, another guy who can play third, also a former top
Rushing
100
this
guy.
spring. Have you seen his spring
Mead.
training stats?
Oh yeah, bro, I got him on my dynasty team. I got him in my keeper league. Curtis Mead.
Who's
What?
this? Oh, Curtis Mead. Yeah.
All right, Curtis Mead in 23 at bats is hitting 696.
Yeah.
696. So what is
Yeah,
what is
so
that?
he's
What is
good.
the math? What does that mean? He's what is he like 17?
70% of the time, basically. 70% of the time he's getting hit. This is average, you said? 696 or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like 70% of the time he's gonna hit. All right, I'm still going. I'm not done yet. Ha-Sung Kim, they signed him. He's gonna start the season hurt, but he'll be back. Taylor Wall's not a really good hitter, but he's a lockdown defender at shortstop, kind of Steven Drew-ish, Gordo. You love that. Christopher Morel.
Gross.
They got Christopher Morel, plays all over, not a good defender, but he can hit. Johnny DeLuca, who we talk about a lot, good defender in center field. Not much of a bat, but he's a great defender. Josh Lowe is a solid outfielder, and then you have Eloy, who knows? But dude, that's not a bad lineup at all.
I like Eloy.
One name you didn't say, I don't think. Did you say Chandler Simpson?
No, I didn't even say another one. Chandler Simpson.
Chandler Simpson, for those who are unfamiliar, they have created in a lab Billy Hamilton 2.0 last year in high A and double A. So maybe makes the opening day roster, maybe not. Will definitely be up at some point this year. His bare bones stats, like, this guy sucks. He has a home run and 29 RBI. He hit 355 with 104 stolen bases. So yeah, that's an issue. Then another thing is their top prospect, Carson Williams.
Yeah.
Carson Williams, he'll be up at some point. He will wasn't in the game plan, 3 years ago, but he'll be the successor to Wander Franco. So they will have a franchise shortstop coming up at some point. They have Xavier Isaac, who's top 50.
Yeah. Power hitter.
They've got a really good farm.
I'm telling you, this is a scary team. They're being slept on almost because of the Rays. How could you not those names? And I didn't even mention Sammy, they got a guy on the 40-man. Listen to this. This will scare you. They have a guy on the 40-man who I found out about today, whose name is Joe Rock.
That's sick.
Yeah, Joe Rock. He's just a relief pitcher, but his name's Joe Rock.
This team, they've got a lot of, like, just focusing on the lineup specifically. It's a lot of guys where it's like, oh yeah, like, that guy's solid. I think that guy could be good. They do not have impact in that lineup. It's gonna like
Caminero.
That's
yes.
It. But
I agree. I agree.
I think it's Caminero. I think that's it. And even that's like, it's a guy who had like a low 700s OPS last year that I think is going to break out. I think he will break out. Oh shit. Whatever. I saw the news, whatever. It's football. Yeah. But yeah, where was I going with that? Yeah,
they have no impact.
Caminero could be great, but it's like, okay, there's your one impact bat, and he's never done it before. So it's like, okay, if that breaks right, you've got one impact bat. That's not going to be enough to compete in the AL East, in my opinion. I just don't think.
I don't know, man. I mean, you know how much would happen wrong for. I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't know. I think they're scary. I think they're really scary. It's the Rays. Their prospects almost always hit. They always hit on prospects. They're freaks in Tampa Bay.
I mean, yes and no. Like, they had a few top guys where, like, if they'd panned out, like Luis Patino, who was the catcher from the Padres that they got? Francisco Mejia.
Mejia.
Taylor Walls was a super top guy, and, like, yes, he's a great defender, but he has not panned out. Like, they had. But
that was the book on him. That was the book on Walls. He doesn't hit, but he's a great defender. If he hits, it's a plus. But I don't know, man. I'm so many things would have to go wrong for these guys not to be good, which is kind of what happened last year, honestly. And it was a freak show. So I don't know.
Well, Sammy, we might be having two conversations here, because they've got an incredible farm system, and what MLB Pipeline had them ahead of the Red Sox, right? It was Tigers and Rays and then Red Sox. Yep. So, like, that's there. Like, longer term here, like, we agree the Blue Jays are about to fall off a cliff. I think we all agree the Yankees, I mean, they may not fall off a cliff because they'll spend enough to keep themselves relevant, but their years of being the big bad Yankees here, I think, are coming to a close pretty soon. Like, they're not going to be the number one team we're worried about. To me, longer term, it's the Orioles and the Rays. And for the Orioles, it's because they've got this great base in place, and they've got a few more guys coming at the top, and they'll have a nice, 4 or 5 year window. Then they won't pay their guys, and then that'll be that. The Rays, right now, their baseline is kind of what were they last year? How many wins did they have last year? Like 76 or something?
78 maybe.
Let's figure out what their baseline is. Tampa Bay Rays 2024 record.
80.
They had 80 wins. All right,
One
they had
less
80
than the
wins.
Red Sox. Yeah.
So that's the baseline. They should be better than that. They did offload some stuff at the deadline, but they should be better than 80. Anyone here think they're gonna be worse than 80 wins?
No, I think they're going to be way better than that. I think they're going to be nasty. I think this is officially the most slept on team in Major League Baseball. The Tampa Bay Rays.
Dude,
They
I
always
don't
are.
know.
They always are.
They're so pitching reliant, and they're now in a hitter's ballpark. I cannot confidently say that they'll be better than last year.
Yeah, but they're still tough pitchers. The other team is going to have to play in that.
I get
ballpark,
that.
too.
But I'm with Gordo. I think aside from Caminero, they don't have thump. Not yet. That's
Fair. Yeah,
but
they don't
not
have
yet.
thump, but how much are they going to have to score with that pitching staff? They're not going to
In
have
that
to be. I mean,
ballpark, a little bit more.
but it's going to be easier for them to score in that ballpark.
Fair.
So, yeah, I don't know. I just think this team is on the verge of exploding and being really good. They scare me more than the Orioles do.
All right, here. This is a question. I know Sammy's answer, so I'm going to ask Pat. Pat, who do you think is going to be better this year, the Rays or the Blue Jays? Because that's where I'm struggling. Because I predicted the Blue Jays, I believe, to have 84 wins, and I'm trying to figure out if I want to put the Rays above or below that. Like I'm really thinking on the fly here. Like I don't just like I don't know.
I
Might lean
think
less.
I lean Blue Jays to be better.
You had Blue Jays at less than 80. Like you had Joe might have been the lowest on the Blue Jays out of the four of us.
I think I had them at like 82. I think I had them a hair over 500 if I remember correctly.
All right. Well, let's get into the predictions. We'll compare Red Sox, Rays, and everything. Joe, come on in. And okay, so let's start with the offense. I feel like this one's pretty easy.
Yeah.
I think the Red Sox have a better offense than the Rays. Anyone disagree?
No, I could
No,
talk the Rays offense and upside. I could talk it up all day. It's not better than the Red Sox, though. Come on.
Joe, you're on board with that? Pat, I assume you're on board.
Yeah.
That's the easiest part of the graphic here. All right. Starting pitching. This is a hard one because we read all those names. They have 7 legit dudes, and you could argue that 5 or even 6 are like top 3 in the rotation guys. That said, for me at least, I'm on record saying I think the Red Sox have a good shot to have the second best rotation in the American League. But since then, we've had some injuries. Oof. Does anyone have a confident answer on this?
I wouldn't say it's a confident. I give a very slight edge to the Rays just because the depth is so good. I think McClanahan and Crochet are very comparable. Then after that, the depth is just absurd. It's crazy. And I like Houck. He was great last year, but we got to see him do it again. These guys on the Rays, you could say, I guess you could say the same thing about them, but there's just so many of them. It's like they have an army of these talented guys, and it's the Rays. I'm so
Sox
confident in.
Sox have it too. They've got
Kinda,
the
but
Sox. The Sox have that same, you can list off 7, 8 guys, especially if you include Patrick Sandoval in the back half of the year.
Sure,
guys who have
we're
been top
talking
3
about
starters in this league.
But I'm talking depth though. Like Shane Baz was a very highly ranked prospect. Same with Bradley. Same with Pepio.
And
Drew
have had big league
Rasmussen.
success. They're all good.
Yeah, yep. And Rasmussen, I think wasn't he an All-Star recently in 2022? He was an All. Yeah, look at that. 28 starts, sub 3 ERA. So this guy's fucking Rays, dude. Fuck these guys.
Can I give you the reason for doubt though, Sammy?
Sure.
How many of those guys, you can look at that entire rotation, how many of them have been good for a full season and are not coming off injury? So Shane McClanahan, he's amazing. At one point was maybe the best pitcher in baseball, and if not that, he was the best pitcher in the AL. But they're going to take him. They're going to be very careful with him.
Mhm.
They're going to be careful with Drew Rasmussen. Then Taj Bradley hasn't done it a full year. Shane Baz hasn't done it a full year. Ryan Pepio, I'll actually say, has done it a full year. He's the one guy I'll give it to. Who am I forgetting? There's another one besides Boyle. Boyle obviously hasn't done it a full year.
Zach
Bradley?
Littell.
Zach Littell. Okay, Zach Littell's done it a full year. Bradley has not. Bradley has had flashes of massive upside, but he's also sucked. Like, he's done both. He looks incredible, but his game logs are crazy. I had him in fantasy. Unfucking predictable. You never
Pretty
know
good
when you're
last
going to
year.
get 10 Ks, and maybe he's going to allow 7 runs.
Yeah, last year 25 starts, 138 innings, but 154 strikeouts. So that's a good
It's a machine.
good looks for the future. And then there's Boyle. Boyle's the outlier to me. If Boyle's good, oh my god, look at his. That's a good Savant page to look at. Look at Joe Boyle's baseball Savant page. If you're into that kind of stuff, listeners, freaky. He throws really hard. Yeah, 96th percentile fastball velocity, 95th percentile missing barrels, but then first percent walk rate, and he doesn't get any chases, but he does get a lot of whiffs. So and you know what the Rays pitching philosophy is? They care much less about chase. They're much more into whiff. So I think that's a match made in heaven, and I hate to say it because as much as I'm talking up the Rays, they're in the same division as our Red Sox. So
I think I am on Sammy's. I think I'm on his same wavelength where at the end of the year, I could clearly see the Sox like being the runaway rotation favorites over the Rays. But I think coming in, they feel deeper. They feel deeper and a little bit more proven.
you know who else they have? Connor Siebold.
Ugh. Pat, who are you going with here?
I'm going with the Sox, and I'm strictly going off of, I think both rotations have injury concerns. So with that negating, I'm defaulting to track record, and the Sox pitchers have a better track record. My big thing is, like, Shane Baz. I have loved Shane Baz, like, going back to when they got him from Pittsburgh. I have loved Shane Baz. Shane Baz made his major league debut in 2021. Career in the major leagues has pitched 23 games. That's insane.
Wow.
That's insane. So there's no track record there. I'm with, I think, everyone here. I think a healthy McClanahan is a top 3 starting pitcher in the American League. I don't think that's even debatable. He is so good. Taj Bradley, super streaky. Zach Littell, time will tell. Sorry for the Sox, but Zach Littell.
Zach Littell.
We'll see how he does, but there's such thing as a Tropicana merchant, but he did feel like he'd be one of those pitchers who would benefit from a pitcher's ballpark. So there's that. I mean, Boyle, whatever. We'll see what Tampa does with him. I don't know. I think that Pepio is very good. I like Ryan Pepio a lot.
He is really good.
They have a lot of good pieces, but I don't think they can bank on health, and I don't think they have the track record where you should have so much success that they can do it for a full year. And so for that, I lean Red Sox.
You know, it's crazy. The AL East, and damn, this point would be so much easier to make if Garrett Cole was healthy. But the AL East, side for the Orioles, they have some great starting rotations because I felt really confident in saying that I think the Red Sox have the second best starting rotation in the American League. Yet last week, I was sitting on the fence about Sox rotation versus Jays rotation. This week, I'm sitting on the fence, Sox rotation versus Rays rotation. And if Garrett Cole were healthy, I would certainly be sitting on the fence, Sox rotation versus Yankees rotation. I am, in this instance, I'm going to go with the Red Sox. I want to let like these little injury concerns in spring training get in the way. But like the truth is, like a little nagging hamstring and like Bayo's behind, like so many of these things, even Cutter, like they've been quiet on Cutter, but we have like, who knows? They're going to have a full rotation of dudes who are top half of the rotation guys. And they've got Garrett Crochet at the top of that thing, and they're going to be able to unleash him for the entirety of the season. Whereas the Rays just don't have that. Like, I agree, Shane McClanahan, when he's at his best, I'd argue he's better than Garrett Crochet. But I just don't think you're going to get that this year. Even if he's at his best, you're just not going to get enough innings for he's just not going to finish higher in the Cy Young race than Garrett Crochet. I'm going to go with the Sox here. It's not by a lot, but I am going to go with the Red Sox here. And I agree the Rays have fantastic depth there. I think the Red Sox do too. Bullpen. I'll go first, and I'm just going to say I'm going with the Rays.
Rays
by far, not even close.
Joe?
I will say, I hate to say Rays, but what I've seen from the Sox gives me confidence in saying it.
Yeah.
If we had this conversation a few days, if we had this conversation maybe in the first week of spring training, would any of you guys have been tempted to say Red Sox?
No,
I've been kind of down on the bullpen from, all off season. I don't think it's bad. I just think it's lacking. I like the depth in the Red Sox bullpen, but not the back end guys, which is weird because I feel like in years past, like last year, for example, I liked Martin and Kenley, 8th and 9th, but there wasn't enough depth. This year, I like the depth. A lot of guys could come up from AAA and contribute, but I don't know who's pitching that 9th inning. Liam Hendricks, I've been saying all offseason, I want to give him a shot, but not looking too good in spring training, guys. Not looking too good.
No, it looks like Slayton's job to lose.
Well, he's the latest member of the Ozempic Sox to lose 1,000 pounds after getting sick.
He's back though. He came back pretty quickly, so I'm hoping he didn't. I didn't see anything about how much weight he lost, but
it's
I
kind
think
of
he was
funny.
Gone for a day or two.
Who do we? We'll talk more about this another time. But okay, Vaughn Grissom, Wilyer Abreu, who else? Roman Anthony, Marcelo. Who else has gotten lost weight or just gotten sick? This is another. I guess Slayton you could count. His was brief. It's just crazy. Like it's like a weight loss trick. You want to lose weight? Play for the Red Sox. You'll get sick, puke it all up.
So on the bullpen though, I will say, I would have always gone Rays here just because it doesn't really matter what names they have. The Rays are going to have a good bullpen. That's just death taxes. Rays having a good bullpen. But with the Sox, there was a reason why we all wanted them to get one more back end guy. Like we wanted them to swing a trade with the Padres, but they ended up going with Ottavino, Matt Moore, minor league deals. And it's like, okay, hopefully someone catches on and sticks, but there's a chance that Liam Hendricks isn't the Liam Hendricks of old. There's a chance that Aroldis Chapman is just good, but not great. There's a chance that Justin Slayton doesn't take that next step. There's a chance that that Garrett Whitlock, even if Garrett Whitlock's really good, he's probably best served throwing multiple innings. So it's like, who's going to get the 9th inning? So I don't think the Rays have that issue. If they're competing and they don't trade Pete Fairbanks, their 8-9 is going to be great.
Gordo, the good thing about the depth that I was talking about a minute ago.
Suarez, that's the name. Jesus. Okay, go ahead.
The good thing about the depth is you can make Whitlock the closer and still have plenty of guys to fill in for those innings. I agree. I think he would be great as a multi-inning guy who comes in, pitches the 6th and 7th inning, bridges you to your late inning guys. But it's not like this group needs someone like that. They don't need it. It would be nice, but if they need Garrett Whitlock to close, he can close. So that's kind of like my saving grace with the bullpen is that Whitlock is back. He's done it before. I would say he was good, but not great as a closer, but he was also a Rule 5 draft pick as a rookie that year. So
barely closed too. Not much. Yeah. Not much closing experience, but definitely can do it. And we haven't seen a lot of him. I don't think he's pitched televised once. And I think he's only gotten into one game, but Cora was asked, and this was, getting on a week and a half, 2 weeks ago at this point, but he was asked who has stood out, and he said Garrett Whitlock. Don't forget about this guy. He maybe looks better than 21.
For everyone listening, we're recording on Tuesday, March 11th, just in case Whitlock pitches in a game.
True.
We're paying attention. We're just, we got to can these episodes, dude.
Yeah. Division preview. But so wait, we all said Rays for the bullpen, correct?
Yep.
All
We
right.
also Red Sox. It was pretty even. Well, actually, everyone picked the Red Sox lineup. Everyone picked the Rays bullpen, and then we were split on the
Oh
rotation.
yeah. Yep.
Look at that.
Now
Balance.
win totals. Does anyone? I'm still trying to catch on to what I. Does anyone? Okay, Pat's got one. Pat.
Oh
what do you
no,
got?
no. I want Sammy to go first because I want to immediately follow Sammy.
Okay.
I think the Rays win 96. No, I'm just kidding. I think the Rays
You
will
had
win
me.
85. 85 games. Very very good, not amazing, but a very strong team. I think they're being slept on. 85 wins, maybe a playoff team too.
Where did you have the Orioles?
Oh, where did I have you? I think 84, 83
I'm
or
gonna
84.
go to the Instagram graphic. I'll go check just to
Yeah,
hold
I think
everyone
they're.
honest.
Oh, the Orioles? Oh, I don't remember where I had the Orioles. Blue Jays, I had 81 or something, 82.
All right, you ready? Orioles. I had 90. Sammy had 86. Pat had 87. Joe had 85.
Yeah. All right. So a game worse than the Orioles. I think just because the injury stuff scares me, but I think the Rays have more upside than the Orioles.
Ooh, that's an interesting thing.
I'd much rather meet the Orioles in the playoffs than the Rays, and I don't even think that's a hot take. The Rays just scare the shit out of me.
I'd rather meet the Rays in the playoffs. The Rays in the playoffs, especially, like their model almost it just doesn't work in the postseason.
Doesn't translate. Yeah.
What the Orioles? Orioles
they're
haven't won a playoff game in how many years? Like
No, I
8
know they're
years?
disaster in the postseason too, but I don't think that's because like a formula issue. I think it's just they've had a bunch of young guys and haven't been ready. And to be fair, they're not going to, unless something changes, they're not going to have a great rotation in the postseason. But you want to talk about upside. I don't think there are many offenses in baseball that have more upside than the Orioles offense this year.
Yeah,
Just
totally
the
fair.
guys they've got coming.
It's more the
But-
pitching. I think their pitching rotation blows.
Yeah,
I think
it
the
does.
back end of their bullpen is good, but the rotation I think stinks. And that's why the Orioles I think will get just murdered in the playoffs.
So Sammy had 85, right? You had 85 for the Rays.
85 wins for the Rays. Yeah.
All right, Pat, you want to follow this? What do you got?
79.
Hell yeah.
I
They'll
think
get worse than last year.
I do, and I think that's look. Playing in a new park's not easy, and I get that. I think that's different. They're also used to playing indoors. Never mind a Tropicana, outdoors, new stadium. Yeah, and I think the rest of the division is so good that it's going to hurt them a little bit. McClanahan back is huge, but I also think they're going to be smart with him. He'll be on some form of innings limit. Baz, I hate to say it because I do love Shane Baz. Almost inevitable he gets hurt. Pepio's pretty good. Bradley's inconsistent, and I just don't think the offense is all that great. I don't. I think Caminero's going to have a great year. Outside of him, I don't think there's much there. Yet, I think when Carson Williams comes up, different conversation. But this year, I like where they're going, but this year I think they're a hair under 500.
Pat, is it safe to say that this year will be the worst year the Rays have in the next 5 years, do you think?
Oh, yes. I will stamp the seal of approval on that.
Yeah.
Because
Me too.
Carson Williams comes up, Xavier Isaac comes up, Caminero gets his footing. You're talking about a whole different team.
Joe, win total, where are you at?
I mean, I'm on the baseline of Pat too, with the ballpark being such a huge factor. Like, I take the rotation and I take their bullpen, but having such a different ballpark compared to Tropicana Field, it'd be one thing if it was like Fenway to some other outdoor park, but this is like, as you guys were talking about with Tropicana, to basically a triple A ballpark that is so not friendly to pitchers. I think I'm going to be cautious and say 80. I think they get 80 wins, so there's one game under 500.
Okay. I think the ballpark thing, Joe, you make a good point, and you can think it's a little bit different than what happened to the Blue Jays in the COVID year. Like, those guys had to basically uproot their life. What did they went to Buffalo? Do I have that right? They
Yeah.
went to Buffalo. So, like, the Rays guys, like, they don't have to move if they don't want to, but it's a completely different facility, different everything. And I don't know, maybe it's an upgrade over the Trop. I don't know, but they're going to have to, there's a lot that's going to change. And it goes beyond the on-field dimensions and the weather. Like, there's a lot that's going to be different for those guys. I do think that their rotation, like they're just not going to have. And Rays guys get hurt, so like this could change in the snap of your fingers. But it just doesn't look like they're going to have too many games started by schmucks, similar to how we say it about the Red Sox. I do think they're going to be better than last year. I think they're going to be above 500. I think every team in the AL East this year is going to finish above 500. But I think it's going to be 82 wins. And to be honest with you, 82 wins for me, I'm not going to say what place it's going to be because we have the Yankees coming next week, and we'll formulate our standings predictions off of that. Well, I guess we won't have done Red Sox, so we'll have standings predictions when we do the Red Sox official season preview and everything right before the season. But the Rays will, in my guess, have 82 wins, and that's going to have a chance to put them in the basement, which just goes to show you how talented the division is.
Stacked.
Yeah.
Yep.
So to wrap it on the wins, Sammy had 85, I had 82, Joe had 80, Pat had 79.
Yep.
There you have it. That is
close.
yeah. But what was that a bigger gap than we had for? So Sammy had 85, so that's a 6-win gap. Last week, I had the Jays at 84, Joe had 79, so that's a 5-win gap. And then Orioles,
I'll tell you right now, when we do the
also
Yankees
5.
one, we are gonna have a hell of a gap because I'll save it.
Yeah.
Big gap. Just wait.
Stay tuned for next week. We will have the Yankees AL East Outlook preview. So subscribe to Play Tessie. Get the notification when that episode drops. You'll have a couple episodes in the meantime before we get to that point. Do we leave for spring training next week? Right?
Oh yeah, we do.
8
So
days.
yeah. So that episode will drop while we are there.
I leave for spring training tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. Sammy's going to Arizona first. So Sammy's on a fucking journey now.
I'm scouting.
But yeah, well, stay tuned for episodes next week. But yeah, subscribe, rate 5 stars, all your podcast platforms. Go find us on YouTube on the WEI channel. Subscribe to WEI. Find the Play Tessie playlist on the WEI channel. Find all our videos there where you can hit the thumbs up. We would really appreciate that. You can find us on the socials at Play Tessie on both Twitter and Instagram. That's going to do it for our third of, I guess, 4, because I guess the Red Sox preview won't be part of the AL East Outlook. I don't know. It's the AL East Outlook, third of 4. Tampa Bay Rays edition for you today. For Sammy, for Pat, for Joe here, it's Gordo. For Play Tessie, thanks for tuning into this one. Peace.